G'day and welcome back, fight fans, to the MMA Husky Hustler. This week, me and my Husky are breaking down the fights for UFC Fight Night 252 in Seattle, home of some of the most iconic grunge bands of all time.
I'm so happy 'cause today I found my friends. I got feeling so down, got feeling so down.
And of course, the Seattle Supersonics. I've got my four-legged co-host with me, keeping it real as always. Whether it's knockout predictions or submission strategies, we've got it all covered with some furry fun. Let's dive deep into the chaos, the combat, and the canine commentary. Let's go. Kicking off the card in the light heavyweight division, we have Rafael Sequeira versus Modestas Bukauskas. Modestas needs to use his versatility to keep it at range and landing clean shots, wear down his opponent with clinch work and control, and take the fight to the ground where his opponent has less experience, and look for submissions. Rafael needs to use his knockout power to land clean, damaging shots, and stay aggressive to prevent his opponent from controlling the pace. Keep the fight standing and defend against grappling. Have Modestas winning in the later rounds by mixing in his striking and grappling to control the fight. Give me Modestas by round 2 KO. The middleweight division, we have Nursulton Ruziboev versus Eric McConico. Nursulton is a skilled striker with solid grappling abilities, known for his aggressive style. He blends his stand-up with his clinch work and submissions. His striking is sharp and he's comfortable both in exchanges and controlling the pace of the fight. Eric is a well-rounded fighter with strong wrestling and grappling abilities. He's also got good striking game. He's known for his pressure-based fighting, looking to outwork opponents, take them down, and control them on the ground. Eric has a more methodical approach, mixing wrestling and striking to set up his attacks. Nursulton's best chance is to keep the fight standing and outstrike Eric. His aggressive nature and powerful striking can overwhelm Eric if he avoids the takedowns. He will want to use his distance, avoid the clinch, and make Eric pay when he tries to close the distance. Eric needs to get the fight to the ground. If he can close the distance and implement his wrestling, he can take control. Eric will look to wear out his opponent with pressure and control on the ground, securing a dominant position and potentially looking for a submission or a decision victory. My prediction is Nursulton by round 2 KO. Weight division, we have Nikolay Veretennikov versus Austin Vanderford. Austin has a background in wrestling, has competed in organizations like Bellator MMA, where he's earned a title shot. Austin is recognized for his well-rounded skill set, including strong grappling and striking abilities. Nikolay has experience in organizations such as Professional Fighters League, or known as PFL, and he's known for his striking prowess and knockout power. Nikolay is coming off a split decision loss in his UFC debut and aims to secure his first UFC victory in this matchup. Nikolay has demonstrated significant knockout power in his career, with several wins coming via KO. Austin, while capable on his feet, may need to be cautious of the striking to avoid being caught. Austin's wrestling background gives him an advantage in the grappling department. He can utilize his takedowns and control and neutralize Austin's striking and potentially secure a submission victory. Austin's conditioning and ability to maintain high pace could be critical, especially if the fight extends into the later rounds. Nikolay's endurance has been questioned in past bouts, which Austin can exploit. Given Austin's well-rounded skill set and grappling advantage, he's favored to win this bout with his ability to control the fight on the ground. However, Nikolay's striking should lead him to a decision victory. In the Bantamweight division, we have Ricky Simon versus Javid Basharat. Ricky will likely look to impose his wrestling early on by closing the distance and initiating grappling exchanges. He can dominate with takedowns, top control, and submission attempts. His reckless pace will be critical in wearing Javid down over time, potentially forcing him to break under pressure. His best chance relies in avoiding Ricky's wrestling and using his superior footwork and striking to control range. Staying light on his feet and landing clean counters could help him outpoint Ricky. If he can defend takedowns and avoid being trapped against the cage or on the ground, he can frustrate Simon and score from the outside. Give me Jared to pull off a decision victory. In the middleweight division, we have Abdul-Malik versus Nick Klein. Mansour will need to keep the fight standing and use his striking to stay at range. If he can avoid Nick's takedowns, he have the advantage in the stand-up exchanges. If Nick is able to close the distance and initiate his wrestling, Mansour's takedown defense will be key. If he can stuff Nick's takedowns, attempts to keep the fight on the feet, he should be able to outstrike him. If Mansour can maintain pressure and pace and avoid getting into grappling exchanges, he could pick Nick apart with clean punches, avoid being pressured, and control the flow of the fight. For Nick to win, he'd need to pressure Mansour early and close the distance to initiate his takedowns. If he could get Mansour to the ground and have the advantage with his top control and grappling, once on the ground, Nick should look to control the action either by landing ground and pound or looking for submission opportunities. He's very strong and hard to shake off, so maintaining dominant positions will be critical. If Nick can push the pace and make it gritty physical fight, he can wear down Mansour, especially in the later rounds. If he can keep the pressure on and avoid striking exchanges, he could break Mansour's rhythm. However, I don't see any of that happening. Mansour's winning this, and he's winning it in dominant fashion. Give me Mansour by round 1 KO. Next, we have a featherweight bout between Fili and Melquizael Costa. He has a well-rounded skill set, landing an average of 3.88 significant strikes per minute with an accuracy of 37%. He also averages 2.15 takedowns per 15 minutes with a takedown accuracy of 43%. Costa lands an average of 3.46 significant strikes per minute with an accuracy of 46%. He has a takedown average of 0.35 per 15 minutes and a takedown defense of 52%. Andre has a slight edge in significant strikes per minute, but Costa boasts a higher accuracy rate. Andre's reach advantage may allow him to maintain distance and control the pace of the stand-up exchanges. Takedown average and accuracy suggests that he may attempt to bring the fight to the ground. Costa's takedown defense rate indicates he's been susceptible to takedowns in the past. Andre could exploit this weakness and gain control. Fighters have a similar average fight times, indicating comparable endurance levels. The ability to maintain high pace could be critical, especially in the later rounds. Given Andre's experience, reach advantage, and grappling skills, he's favored to win in this bout. His ability to control the fight both on the feet and the ground should lead him to a decision victory. I have Andre by decision. In the light heavyweight division, we have Ion Cutelaba versus Ibo Islam. Ion has a reputation for his aggressive fighting style and knockout power. It's little wonder why his nickname is the Hulk.
And Hulk. Smash.
Ion will look to secure an early knockout by bringing the fight to Islam with aggressive striking. He can take Islam down and control him on the ground, and he will try and land heavy ground and pound to secure a finish. His best chance for success is in the first 2 rounds before Islam can settle into a rhythm. Aslan has an impressive record with 14 wins and only 1 loss. Notably, all his victories have come by knockout, including 12 in the first round. Islam's exceptional knockout record and his recent performances, he is favored to win this bout. His ability to finish fights quickly, especially in the early rounds, poses a significant challenge for Ion. However, Ion's aggressive style and knockout power should not be underestimated, as he's the potential to turn the fight around in his favor with a well-timed strike. For the fight, Islam, round 2 KO. In the light heavyweight division, we have Alonzo Menifield versus Julius Walker. Alonzo is a powerful striker with a solid wrestling background. He has heavy hands and typically looks for knockouts, especially early in fights. Alonzo's explosiveness and power make him dangerous in the stand-up, but his cardio and pace have been questioned when the fight goes into later rounds. Julius is an all-round fighter with solid striking and good grappling game. He has been able to mix in his striking and wrestling and submissions, making him versatile in his approach. He's a bit more technical than Alonzo in terms of his fight IQ and strategy. Julius's best chance is to capitalize on his knockout power in the early rounds. He needs to press the action, throw heavy strikes, and avoid getting into grappling exchanges. If he can land clean shots, he may be able to secure a knockout finish. Julius' path to victory is to avoid those big shots early on and take the fight into the later rounds. He can wear him down by using his wrestling and grappling skills. If he gets the fight to the ground, he can control Alonzo, either looking for a submission or grinding out a decision victory. Alonzo will look to end the fight early with his striking, while Julius will aim to weather the storm and implement a more technical game, potentially using his wrestling and cardio to take over the fight. Prediction: I believe Alonzo wins by KO in the first or second rounds, using his aggressive striking and power to overcome Julius before he can find his rhythm. I have Alonzo by round 2 KO. And in the featherweight division, we have Gene Silva versus Melsik Baghdasaryan. If you haven't seen Gene Silva fight, you're in for a show. His first intense walkout, you knew this guy had something special. Gene needs to press the action early, close the gap to prevent Melsik from using his footwork and technical striking. Gene should not give him space to set up his strikes or kicks. Once he closes the distance, Gene should work to counter Melsik against the cage. This will limit his movement and create opportunities for Gene to land powerful hooks and overhands. Gene's best chance for victory is landing one of his heavy punches, particularly his hooks, uppercuts, and overhands. If Melsik isn't careful and Gene can land clean, it could result in a knockout. On the other hand, Melsik needs to use his footwork to stay on the outside and avoid Gene's pressure and land strikes from distance. His kicks, particularly leg kicks and body kicks, can wear Gene down and set up his punches. If Melsik engages in close quarter exchanges, he risks getting hit by one of Silva's heavy shots. He needs to be smart and move in and out of range, controlling the fight with his striking. By attacking Gene's legs and body, Melsik can slow him down and make it harder for him to press forward with his power punches. Melsik's ability to stay composed under pressure will be key. If Silva gets aggressive, Melsik should maintain his distance and counter with clean technical strikes. This is going to be a very exciting fight, but Gene's relentless pressure and ability to land heavy shots should give him the victory.
Gian Lord Silva!
Give me Gene Silva by round 2 KO. And in the co-main event in the middleweight division, we have Brandon Allen versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez.
It's so fluffy!
Allen has developed his striking over time, making him a threat both on the feet and on the ground. He can utilize his reach and height advantage to maintain distance and land significant strikes. By controlling the pace and range, he can outstrike Hernandez, especially in the early rounds. With 13 submission victories, Brandon's grappling is a significant asset. He can look to close the distance, initiate clinches, and transition to the ground where his submission skills can be deceptive. Targeting Anthony's potential vulnerabilities on the ground could lead to a submission victory. Anthony has shown a preference for grappling exchanges. Allen can keep a focus on stuffing takedowns and keeping the fight standing where his striking has the edge. By denying Anthony's takedown attempts, Allen can impose his ground game and control the fight's direction. Anthony is known for his exceptional cardio and relentless pace. By maintaining a high work rate, he can pressure Allen, potentially leading to a mistake or fatigue. This approach can be particularly effective in later rounds, where his conditioning may outlast Allen's. Once on the ground, his control and submission skills can be decisive, particularly leading to a submission victory. Whilst not a primary striker, Anthony can use his striking to set up his grappling. By landing significant strikes, he can create openings for takedowns and clinch situations. This approach can keep Allen on a defensive and open up opportunities for grappling exchanges. Allen's path to victory lies in utilizing his striking and submission skills, while Anthony can focus on his relentless pace and grappling to secure the win. The outcome will depend on which fighter can pose their game plan. My prediction is Anthony Fluffy Hernandez.
You don't love me!
I believe that his pressure and pace will be too much. It will lead to a decision victory. And in the main event, we have Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong, a highly anticipated bantamweight bout between former UFC featherweight and bantamweight champion Henry Cejudo taking on Song Yadong. They say every dog has its day. Henry Cejudo is too old. He never should have retired early. What if he can't get the takedowns? Blah, blah, blah. Whoever said that line clearly never owned a husky, because every day is my husky's day. And she's here to let you all know that this is her dog of the week. Henry will need to mix in his wrestling and grind Song down and control him on the mat. He could also win a decision by outworking him with a combination of striking and takedowns. He needs to keep the fight standing and defend those takedowns. And if he lands big shots and he can stuff the takedowns and pressure Henry, he has a real chance of getting a KO. Henry's wrestling is a massive factor here. If he fights smart and mixes in takedowns, he likely wins a decision or could even get a late finish. However, if he gets too comfortable striking, Song's power could be a game changer. I'm going to go with Henry here. If you look at his last championship fight against Aljamain Sterling, it was a razor-sharp decision, which he could have easily have won. And his fight against Merab, apparently he was carrying an injury. But let's face it, Merab is an absolute beast. No one is beating him in his division for some time now. Not even diving face first into a frozen lake can take that guy out.
Let's go.
Song has the puncher's chance, but let's face it, he's not Aldo. He's not going to stop every single takedown. He will be taken down to the mat early and often. We are going with Henry to pull off the decision victory to remind everyone that he was a champion in 2 different weight classes in the UFC and an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. Look for Henry to relive some of his former glory. And remember, fight fans, anything can and will happen inside the octagon. So me and my husky ask that you gamble responsibly. And for those of you that love Seattle music, this one's for you.
I'm not afraid! I'm not afraid, bye!
With my rusty cat.